But anyways, what this video is about is I was watching One Lonely Farmer from a few weeks back, and he was talking about this kid that walked in to him when he was walking out of an auto parts store with tools and said, "Oh, what do you want that garbage for? That's not Snap-on. All my tools are Snap-on." Well, I found his video fun, absolutely hilarious. I'll link it down below. I like One Lonely Farmer. He's not afraid to speak his mind, which is fine with me. If you can't take an honest opinion, well, maybe you shouldn't be watching YouTube. But he kind of goes on this whole little rant, but here's my little rant about that. This whole toolbox here. There is not any Snap-on tools, any Matco tools, any Cornwell tools, or as I like to call it, Strap-on, Crapco, or fucking Cornhole. This toolbox isn't a Snap-on toolbox. It's a Master Force from Menards. Actually, pretty nice toolbox for the price. If I would have went and bought a toolbox like this from Snap-on, this would be a $25,000, $30,000 toolbox. Easily. So, anyways, so his long story short is this kid basically tells him, all my tools are Snap-on. What do you want that garbage for? That stuff's all garbage. Just gonna break on you. Blah, 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 blah. Well, the thing is, it doesn't matter what kind of tools you have. Now, that being said, I don't like horrible freight tools. There are tools that are just built too cheap. In my opinion, you got three grades of tools. You got your Harbor Freights, your, White Elephant brand, the stuff that's going to break right away. And you got that kind of tools anywhere. And then you got your mid-grade, your Husky, your Craftsman, your Gear Wrenches. Well, Gear Wrench is actually a pretty good brand, but Stanley, even Stanley stuff, any tool that carries a lifetime warranty is pretty decent. And then you got your high-end stuff, your Snap-on. Well, it doesn't matter what one of them you buy. They all break. I have had a wheel bearing on my pickup truck, the front wheel bearing. I broke 4 sockets getting that bolt off. It was 3 sockets. I broke a Craftsman socket, a Snap-on socket, and a Matco socket. You want to know what took that off? Some no-name brand impact socket. I mean, it doesn't matter. They all break. This is 3/4 inch impact sockets. This is some off-brand name. These things are great. I mean, all these sockets here are all Craftsman. There you go, Craftsman. This one here, what's this? This isn't Craftsman. This is some off-brand. ProGrade. This is Fleet Farms house brand, I believe. It doesn't matter. The funny thing is at the company I used to work at, we had a lot of guys that would come in, and these are guys that have mechanical experience, and they would walk in, and they would show up with a brand new Snap-on toolbox and brand new tools. All the tools were still in freaking plastic wrapping and this and that. So I look at that and go, okay, so what's your mechanical experience if you had to go out and buy all new tools? And I would say at least about 90-95% of the guys that showed up with brand new Snap-on toolboxes didn't make it past about 2 months. They just couldn't do their job. They weren't mechanically inclined. And that's something I kind of found out is. Now, before I say this, there's a lot of good mechanics that have Snap-on tools. The thing is, though, they don't have all Snap-on tools. They got other brand tools, too. But then when you see a guy that comes in with a whole toolbox full of Snap-on tools and nothing else, for some odd reason, they don't seem to have any mechanical ability. Now, I'm the type of person, I just naturally mechanical. It doesn't matter if the hydrostatic went out on this. As long as it was out of warranty, I mean, if it's in warranty, it's going back to the dealer. But if it's out of warranty, I don't care. I'll rip it apart. It doesn't bother me one bit. I'll rip it apart, let it sit around for 3 weeks, and put it back together, and it'll work just fine. It doesn't bother me. I've ripped apart engines. I've ripped apart transmissions. I've done a transmission swap in about 90 minutes already on a Pontiac. No, it wasn't a Pontiac. It was a Saturn. The transmission did it in about a 90-minute shop class in school. That's hauling ass. I can wire. I can do electronics. I can solder. I used to work in IT. I can fix stuff. It doesn't matter what it is, but back to where I was going with that is the ones that would show up with Snap-on tools for some reason didn't have the mechanical ability. So I started calling Snap-on Strap-on because they're trying to be something that they're not. Yeah, get your mind out of the gutter, but yeah. DeWalt, okay, it's not Snap-on, but it is, a high-end brand. I mean, I could have Masterforce cordless stuff too, but I like my DeWalt. Whatever. Impacts, well, these aren't cheap impacts. These are English style Rands, but die grinders. Craftsman. This is kind of a cheap brand, but it was for something. This right here, sitting back here, this is the only thing I have from Harbor Freight. And I needed a cutoff wheel. And this was simpler. And you see how much use it gets? It doesn't get used. That's probably why it still works yet, because it doesn't get used. Sorry, I don't care for Harbor Freight tools. You buy them, and you end up going back more than it's worth. But like I said, that's low-end grade tools. You get the mid-grade stuff, you don't seem to have problems with it. Taps, Chinese taps. Right here, Craftsman. Thread chasing kit. 95%, well, I won't say 95, 70% of my stuff is Craftsman. You don't need Snap-on tools. No, my toolbox set up here. Toolbox, tools. If I would go buy this at Snap-on, all the tools I have in this box is Snap-on, I'd have $100,000 owed to the Snap-on guy. And the tools wouldn't be mine, because I would have to do a finance program that would be freaking more than the cost of a brand new truck. I mean, some of these guys are just absolutely nuts with Snap-on tools. Guy I used to work with, his Snap-on bill each month was more than my truck payment for almost a brand new truck. I can say all these tools are mine. They ain't owned by Snap-on. I mean, I don't know. It just bugs me. Oh yeah. Before I end this video, one more thing I do agree with One Lonely Farmer on. Tools aren't something you just go out and buy all at once. This set of sockets I've had ever since I was this set of wrenches I've had ever since I was like 12. My uncle bought these for me long time ago. This set of Allen wrenches my aunt bought me when I was like 16. I mean, I got a multimeter that's not in here that I got from my uncle when I was like 16. Even scan tools, it's a Craftsman scan tool. I mean, it's made by can't think of the company that makes this, but it's not made by Craftsman. It's just rebranded. And back to the story about, strap-on mechanics, as I call them. My brother-in-law is like that. I mean, he can't change the oil on his truck without somebody helping him. But yet, he wants tools. Craftsman tools aren't good enough for him. He's got to have all strap-on tools. Once again, not mechanically inclined. A strap-on mechanic, as I call them. It's ridiculous. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox. This is my rant for the day. Just annoyed. Yeah, it's It's just ridiculous, these guys with Snap-on. And I just kind of had to laugh that One Lonely Farmer agreed about that, which, well, he's a farmer. I mean, you aren't going to go buy a you know, $30 wire cutter to throw in a tractor that's probably going to get lost. But, I mean, you also don't need to buy the cheap shit either, and you get pretty decent tools. I mean, it's just, I don't know. If you're a Snap-on fanboy, I'm sure you're going to give this video a dislike, which, well, that's fine with you, because that's your right to do, because we still live in America, which is still supposedly a free country. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up if you agree with me. Comment below what you have for tools, and share this video if you feel like it, whatever. Have a nice day. I'm going to go buy some Snap-on tools. Yeah, right. See you later. Oh yeah, check out One Lonely Farmer's video down below. It's worth a watch.